Let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow! Hark! Hark! Triton! Hark! Bellow! Bid our father, the Sea King, rise from the depths full foul in his fury. Black waves teeming with salt foam, to smother this young mouth with pungent slime. To choke ye, engorging your organs till ye turn blue and bloated with bilge and brine and can scream no more. Only when he, crowned in cockle shells, with slithering tentacled tail and steaming beard, take up his fell befinned arm. His coral-tined trident screeches banshee-like in the tempest and plunges right through your gullet, bursting ye, a bulging bladder no more, but a blasted bloody film now, a nothing for the harpies and the souls of dead sailors to peck and claw and feed upon, only to be lapped up and swallowed by the infinite waters of the dread Emperor himself. Forgotten to any man, to any time, forgotten to any god or devil, forgotten even to the sea. For any stuff or part of Winslow, even any scantling of your soul, is Winslow no more, but is now itself the sea.
All right, have it your way. I like your cooking.
All right, folks, it's another episode of America's Hometown Horror, and tonight's episode is brought to you yet again by Omio. Omio, in case you haven't heard, Omio is a travel booking platform that makes planning a journey in Europe and North America effortless. Just enter your travel details, and Omio will magically give you all of the train, bus, flight, and ferry options for your journey. It's never been simpler to book your first real vacation for 2021, and best of all, using Omio saves you time and money, and that's a win-win in our books. Omio wants to help you leave your house this summer by offering 5% off your next booking. Just head to omio.com, that's omio.com, and use the code OMIO5 at checkout. It's only valid until July 31st, so you better get on that shit real quick.
Get on it.
For new users only on all modes of transport. It's just the pick-me-up that 2021 needs. Omio, plan, book, and love the journey. Terms and conditions apply. And remember, there is enchantment in the light.
What?
What?
Oh boy.
What?
What?
And away we go. What is up? What is up, folks? Welcome into another episode of America's Hometown Horror. My name is Mike, and I am your host. Good to be here. Good to be heard. Good to be seen on YouTube. Not really seen, but you can, I guess, watch our episodes on YouTube. The audio only version. It's good to be felt. But, as always, I am not here alone. I'm joined by my esteemed co-hosts. Esteemed shithead fellow co-hosts, Andrew and Kat. What's up, you two?
Hello.
What is up?
Oh
What is up?
Nothing.
Can't help myself.
It is about to get fucking weird in here, baby. Oh my God, are we talking about a weird movie tonight?
Face.
There is enchantment in the light, indeed. But so what's been going on? How you guys been doing? What's new since the last time we recorded?
It's been a while, I feel like. I don't know why it's been so long.
We took a little break.
A little bit.
Well, we took one, and then we did the one reading episode.
We did take a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
But it's been a bit. It's been a while.
So this is the first episode that we've put out since we did our attempt at a live read of The Raven. If you're listening to this and you listened to that, hopefully you enjoyed it, and you didn't laugh at us too hard, and you had some fun while doing it. I think we had some fun while doing it as well.
I had a fucking blast.
Kat continues to Snapchat us while we do our intros to our show, and I hate when she does it because the videos always come out so bad. I don't know why. You're not even pointing
because we're never
even
looking
right now.
at it.
But
hello,
but
what is up?
Hey, so in other news, I survived Las Vegas.
I heard.
I'm back in one piece. And safe to say my hellish stretch of 3-week wedding chaos is over with. Now I have about 2 weeks until our next wedding.
Yes.
Right, Kat? I
Correct.
think we have 2 weeks.
A little less.
A little bit less now at this point, but we have a little bit of time to like decompress and
It's been a lot of
record
partying,
some episodes. A
celebrating.
lot of, I can't complain because again,
No, not at
like you
all.
said, has been a lot of partying, a lot of celebrating, and it's nice to kind of like just chill out for a little while. I think.
Yeah.
Why don't you just spill your beans, Mike?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You guys been watching anything interesting lately? I know Kat and I have followed up on a few things.
We finished Fear Street.
Yeah,
right?
we watched Fear Street Part 2 and Fear Street Part 3. Andrew, did you watch any of the rest of the 2 movies?
I have not.
You know what? We didn't finish it, though.
We have about 20 minutes left in Fear Street Part 3.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot about
And
that.
I, for one, I don't know how you feel about having seen the second and third movies. I haven't seen the end of the third movie quite yet. I think they've gotten better as they've gone on. I think the second one was better than the first one, and I think the third one is actually better than both of the first 2, to be honest with you. I don't know what you think.
I want to finish them before I pass judgment.
Mm.
Because I still have 20 minutes left, and if there's some sort of good ending, then
Yeah.
I might change my mind.
Yeah, it's, I want to see how they stick the landing, but I have an idea of where they're going to go. But I'm very pleased having watched the second and third movies of the Fear Street series. And obviously, we did an episode on Fear Street Part 1, which we all liked to varying degrees. So I would say to, you, Andrew, and anyone else out there listening, go check out the Fear Street series. They're all pretty goddamn good.
I've thought about watching the other ones.
Yeah, I would check it out, for sure.
You should.
Yeah. So we also got the trailer for Malignant, which is the new James Wan horror movie. Did either of you guys see this?
No.
I have not.
No, so I watched it. It actually looks pretty cool, which, I mean, pretty much anything James Wan does. And James Wan, if you're not familiar, he's done The Conjuring. He was the writer and director of the first Saw movie. He did Insidious. So
Yeah.
it's the mind behind all of those movies.
It's got a pretty good...
I don't think he really has a bad movie, to be honest with you. And this is his new horror movie that's coming out in October, and it's an original story, which that holds a special place in my heart because I feel like everything these days is some sort of an adaptation of some sort of comic or story or something. And I like when people come up with original ideas. But from the trailer... looks pretty cool. Looks like it's a supernatural slasher type movie.
Oh, I like that.
I always pass judgment. The supernatural thing is okay. It's not my favorite.
You don't like ghost stories and
I mean,
like all that stuff?
no,
Or like
I feel like that's
demons.
I feel like
or-
that's not true at all. I feel like you like all of that stuff, and it scares the
Well,
shit
no,
out
Kat
of you.
loves slashers. Kat loves slashers
you
and
she
real
likes-
life
you like-
scares.
you like
Yeah.
Conjuring.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah? No?
But I
Am
like,
wrong?
like what Mike said, I like real life scares and like slasher films. Like real life scares scare me more than like aliens or monsters or like.
But you don't
See,
so
that's
you
the
don't
shit
so
that-
you don't-
that's the
you don't-
shit that
you don't
I
think
love.
that like paranormal stuff could be
I
real.
haven't had an experience like I haven't been haunted by a
never.
ghost or anything. I mean, I make
think you
things up
should
in my
be.
head, absolutely, but that's my own head.
Well,
That's
obviously,
not-
Andrew has had some experience with
That
that.
makes you
Yeah.
sound like an insane person when you say you want to make things up in your own head.
No, I do make
That's
them up.
scary.
I'm saying I do make them up.
Oh, so you
Not
do.
that I-
So,
yeah.
so you are insane.
Yeah.
Yes.
My experiences are based in reality because
Right.
I've experienced them,
See,
not something
yeah.
I make up in my insane head of
Right,
myself.
exactly.
Which I can
Right,
understand
but
that
I
is
realize-
much scarier because God only knows what you can make up in one's head.
Mm.
It could be all over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Like, that's scary.
Right.
I'm
I've never
scared for you.
experienced- yes.
You are making me scared for yourself.
I hear ye.
Every
I hear
day-
ye.
Every day. is a
Hark!
Hark indeed. We also got another quick 30-second trailer for the new season of What We Do in the Shadows, Catherine. I don't know if you saw this.
No, I didn't.
So basically it's a little 30-second commercial with Nandor walking around the vampire mansion wearing a VR headset, picturing himself being outside in the sun.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And he's just like bumping into shit in the mansion. It's pretty funny. But it also dropped in that 30-second teaser that we're getting a 2-episode premiere of season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows.
Nice.
On September 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's soon. That's exciting.
Real soon. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Unfortunately,
6
Yeah.
weeks
things
away,
like
5
August
weeks
is-
away?
I know.
My God, it's about to be August, like this
Yeah.
week, which is
I can't
this week
wait
coming.
for winter. I'm so sick of the heat.
Stop it. Shut up.
It's fucking for the
Are you
birds.
serious?
Hold your tongue.
When you work outside in the heat
Hold your
and
tongue.
don't just enjoy the heat by
okay.
sitting on a beach, then you can talk.
Oh, God.
Fine. Fair.
So, yeah, those couple of things came out. And, yeah, watch Fear Street. But the only actual piece of news that I felt we should comment on that I saw came out actually right before we recorded this episode. So I think we talked about this on a prior episode. But they're making a new Exorcist movie. And it's directed by David Gordon Green, who directed the Halloween reboot in 2018.
DGD.
DGD. And apparently he came out in the news and said that this is going to be, like Halloween 2018, a direct sequel to the original Exorcist, and is going to not ignore all the other sequels, but make them in some sense canon, but it's going to basically be a sequel to the first movie.
That's some fucking balls.
It is.
That's quite an endeavor. So props to him for even trying it. I hope it works out well.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll see.
Even if it's bad, I still give him props because that takes some stones to just be like, oh, you know what I'm going to do a remake, follow up to is The Exorcist.
One of the best horror movies.
Which is one of the best horror movies of all time.
I mean, by all accounts, most people say it's the scariest movie ever made.
I don't think so
either, but in my childhood, it scared me senseless. So, I don't know. He has a tall task at hand, but, the 2018 Halloween sequel was very successful.
In case people haven't been listening, Mike, what do you find scarier than The Exorcist? What's your scariest movie? Real quick.
So I think what's scarier than The Exorcist?
To you, personally, because everyone has a different...
Mine's The Ring.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Done.
Because that doesn't have anything to do with the supernatural or ghosts, so I understand what you're saying.
It's a girl who
those
lives on a
things don't scare
videotape.
you. Literally, literally, you just said that movie that you...
So to put me in my to get people in my lane, I think the three movies that I've seen where I was the most scared the first time I saw them.
Just one. I don't want three.
I'll give you an idea.
Want one. Just one.
Jaws.
Fair enough. Sharks.
The Descent.
No.
Aliens.
So big scary monsters.
Yep. Exactly. Scary monsters and nice sprites.
So,
right.
as we all know,
yes.
I don't judge movies based off of how scary they are to me because nothing scares me. You can't scare me.
Right.
I don't get scared, except for
Tough guy.
And when I say that this is the scariest movie to me, does not mean that this is my favorite horror movie.
Phantasm.
Already said this. Nope, that movie's not scary.
Texas Chainsaw.
That movie's awesome. No, The Strangers.
Scariest
fucking
scary.
movie. That movie scares the piss out of me because
it's a
that
scary movie.
is what happens probably more often than not.
Yeah.
Some fucking weirdos come to your house and just murder
you for no reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is that terrifying? No.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Ring is
So,
that weird creature that looks
what I will say,
Okay.
we're talking about the Exorcist sequel here. Linda Blair is still alive, who played Reagan in The Exorcist.
She's like the grandmother in this.
I don't know, but I think it's not off the table that we might see her returning for this movie.
It's too bad she's not dead, because then she could be the demon that comes back and like scares everybody.
Well, I'm glad she's alive, but yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
No.
you mean her character or the person?
Like in reality, like
I
just
mean,
really.
all
hard.
right, all right.
Like that would be
All right,
terrifying.
fair enough. So yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
the
I guess
demon of
we'll
Linda
see
Blair.
what happens with this Exorcist sequel. But that was the most noteworthy piece of news that I saw over the last couple of days, and it actually just happened to break right before we started recording. So how about
Breaking
that?
news
That
brought to
thing.
you by America's Hometown
Hometown
Horror.
Horror.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was going to be brought to you
No.
by Shine Through Window.
But that's that's what I got for news. Are you guys ready to get weird and talk about tonight's topic?
I'm ready to get
Yes.
real weird.
Oh,
I have
it's-
notes.
It's gonna get weird.
I'm good.
All right.
I'm ready.
What?
All right. So at this point, that means we're going to start talking about
The topic du
the
jour.
2019 movie, or dare I say, the 2019 film, because this is very clearly a film, courtesy of A24 Studios.
One of the top films of all time. If we're talking film.
Film.
Are we talking film?
I believe we are.
We're talking
Yeah,
film.
sure.
Top
Yep,
films
yes.
of all time. So that's how you should preface it.
You think this is one of the top films of all time?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's up there with I'm not saying horror movies. I'm just saying movie for movie. This movie hits it on every fucking gear. Am I wrong?
I think it's safe to say that this is a...
Can you name two better actors in one movie?
I mean, I gotta think about it. I feel like.
Okay, Rear Window.
I mean, Once Upon a Time in
Rear Window was
Hollywood had a
good.
great cast.
Rear Window. Who's in Rear Window?
I don't know.
James
I
Stewart
don't remember
and
details.
Audrey Hepburn. Two of the best actors. I'm saying, movie for movie, best acting in one movie. Like, there's no other actors. This movie needs no other
Tom
actors.
Hanks and Wilson.
I would say
Tom Hanks and Wilson is a top. I think you were going to say Turner and Hooch.
No!
But you can go with that.
I mean, Turner and Hooch works too.
Turner and Hooch
You know they're
is
making
awesome.
a new Turner and Hooch series for Disney
I don't want to
Plus,
see
by
it
the way.
because who's going to be in that?
Yeah, it's apparently
Jonah Hill and some fucking
dude that's playing
corgi?
some dude that's playing the son of Tom Hanks's character in Turner and Hooch.
Colin Hanks?
No, not Colin Hanks. The son of
Because he's
Tom
really
Hanks'
weird
character.
in that Dexter series.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Dexter.
Wait.
Yeah, he's one of
What?
the serial killers. And Colin Hanks is one of the main characters in a series with, what's his name?
In Dexter?
Season... It's before the Trinity Killer.
Okay, hold on.
I didn't
need
know
to
that.
look this up.
Oh,
Okay.
he's really good, and he's being mentored by some very religious person.
Okay.
And it's a very famous actor. He's got pop marks all over his face. He's
Dexter.
like Spanish descent.
Okay.
Oh my god, yeah, he was in Dexter.
Yeah, I know.
Hold on.
Who was the other guy? What was the other guys? What was the other main villain's name?
I don't remember. Dexter?
It's you have the Wikipedia
no, I
page
just have
pulled up.
Colin Hanks up here.
Oh.
All right.
Keep
Well,
moving.
to go off your point, I think this movie does more with less than about any movie of the last 10 years. And when I say less, I don't mean the acting. I just mean it's a minimalist movie. There are pretty much two actors the entire
Pretty
time.
high budget though.
Yeah. Well,
For a minimalist movie.
it looks great. It sounds great.
Visually
it's acted
perfect.
great. It's written great. I mean, this is a fantastic movie, and it again, a film.
So you
a
wouldn't put
film.
this you wouldn't put this in like your top 20 movies of all time, regardless of genre.
I mean, I don't know if I'm ready to put it there yet, but
20?
It's
20?
20?
20?
I mean, 20. That's
What?
That's high company. It's high company.
20.
So, of course, we're talking about The Lighthouse, a 2019 film directed by Robert Eggers. And I know we already started kind of giving our thoughts on this, so let's just talk about our overall thoughts on this movie. I know, Andrew, you and I have seen this multiple viewings. Kat, you saw this for the first time the other day.
did, yes.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you thought about this movie?
I honestly was
Blown away.
a little bit blown away.
Afraid?
To be honest, I was.
See? Awesome. Love
It's
it.
dark. It's nuts. You have to absolutely have the subtitles on when you watch it. The
Yep.
sound effects, the score is amazing.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I love the way it was shot. I love that it's in like a water setting, like because I mean,
Water.
obviously,
I
I've
love
always-
water. I'm so thirsty
I
all the
mean,
time. I'm like, water!
It's I've been around water all my life, like the ocean. I guess I'll be more specific.
Yar. Harky.
Yar. I liked everything. I mean, honestly, everything about it. It was awesome. Like it knocked
Yeah.
it out of the park. I was.
Kat, can I
very
just
happy.
say, you've come so far. You have like let go of your idiot takes of the past, and finally
made up for it with this
you
episode?
Finally, you totally
Finally
fucking
redeemed yourself.
Wow.
You've come so far. You have said the dumbest things I've ever heard possible on a podcast, and yet now
Today I
none of
redeemed
those
myself.
none of those
them
even matter because you actually liked a good movie, and
Andrew's
that makes
so
me
thrilled
so
with you right
fucking
now.
excited. Thank you so much for not being
High
such a stick in the mud.
Oh, Otis, don't get too excited.
And you know what?
Come on.
Most people probably hate this fucking movie.
No, I don't think so.
I think people because
Otis, come on.
you have to be able to find a certain level of pretentiousness inside yourself to enjoy this movie. Because
Oh,
this movie is
absolutely.
super pretentious. It's super fucking riddled with just dumb dialogue,
Again,
which is great dialogue.
A film. This is a
A
film.
film. It's a film. When I say a film, I mean a film. So I have an ability to find inside my idiot self
Yep.
a certain pretentious viewing of certain movies,
Yep.
which is why I can like this movie. I feel like you have to be willing to get outside of your normal in the box type of movie. Like, yeah, there's comedies, there's dramas, there's horrors, Then there's films. This is a film. This is a movie that
absolutely.
does not belong. You cannot box this movie in. You cannot pick what this movie is. It's not a psychological thriller. It's not a horror movie. It's not a comedy. It's not a dark comedy. It's not a drama. It's not any of that fucking shit. It's not a historical fucking reenactment of anything. But it is. You know what? It is. Yes, it is. All in the same. It is every movie that you've ever wanted to watch is all in one. It's everything. It's a perfect movie. This movie fucking slaps.
Well,
Slap.
You
Slap. Slap. That's my ass. That movie fucking slaps.
Otis agrees. So it's actually, you took the question right out of my mouth. So, like, is this a horror movie?
It's a genreless movie. You cannot genre.
I agree.
It is very artistically shot. And that, I feel like... And
It is a I feel like it's a
scripted,
drama,
and it's very...
a comedy with horror elements. I feel like this movie is pretty comedic.
It's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Bro, guy's jerking off to a scrimshaw mermaid.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
find that funny.
Yeah.
For some reason in my sick, twisted mind, I find that funny.
Okay.
But,
All right.
tis me.
So,
Ye Winslow. Hark! Otis Hark.
Otis is here.
Hark.
Otis is here too, by the way. He's pissed that I didn't mention him at the Spooky Hound Dog. Follow him on Instagram. I think, in my personal opinion, Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe deliver the two best performances in a horror movie or a horror-ish movie in recent memory. They're both phenomenal. And I think the only other, like, if I really racked my brain before I wrote this, and I was trying to think of, like, performances in horror movies over the last 10, 20 years or so. And I really could, over the last 10, let's say, I could come up with two performances that were close to this in terms of the acting ability. One of them was Toni Collette in Hereditary, which we did an episode on that. Go back and listen to that. That movie is also phenomenal. Another A24 horror movie, by the way. And the other one was Lupita Nyong'o in Us.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she was phenomenal in that.
She got, like, Academy Awards for that.
Nah, she should have been nominated. She was
She
not.
should not?
She was not.
Not what?
Not what?
What?
Oh, my gosh. Enough with the whats.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think these two are hitting so above, not above their pay grade, but they are like
they're pay graded. They're top of the pay. What are you talking about? You're talking about. Can we not get into that misnomer that they're not like these big paid actors?
Andrew,
they're huge actors in the acting field.
If I can say that was not the correct phrase that I was looking for.
Stop with the whats.
Sorry.
I'm gonna slap your guys' face.
These are two capital A actors acting at the peak of their ability. And they absolutely take this movie to the sky, I think, from my opinion.
Can you think of a better performance given by Robert Pattinson?
No.
No.
Nope. No?
What else is he in?
No?
He's in a bunch of stuff. I mean, I've seen some of his indie movies. Do you ever see Good Time? Good Time or High Life or those movies are good with him in it.
Did you ever see Water for Elephants with Reese Witherspoon?
I wanted to see that, but I didn't.
That's his best dramatic performance.
I watched the Netflix movie.
I can't wait to see him be Batman.
I can't either.
Oh my god, he's going to be so good because he's such a phenomenal actor.
So he's actually said in interviews that his voice for Batman in the upcoming Batman movie was inspired by Willem Dafoe's voice in this movie.
Oh,
interesting.
I fucking love that because
I can't-
Willem
I
Dafoe.
can't wait. Yeah.
Let's just talk about Willem Dafoe for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Let ye name a better Willem Dafoe movie.
I mean,
you can give me close comparisons, but there isn't one.
I think Platoon is a better movie than this, but he's not the best part of Platoon. He has a better role in this movie, I think.
Let ye name.
He's so good.
But he did get nominated for an Academy Award for Platoon, obviously. But
Platoon's a great movie, but he's
a supporting character.
This is the only genre that I wouldn't put The Lighthouse into. Is like a war,
of course,
historical,
no, definitely,
whatever you want to fucking call it. So, other than that,
I think this movie also firmly establishes Robert Eggers, the director, as one of the best young horror directors to watch, along with Ari Aster and Jordan Peele. I mean, so this is...
You know what I like about
this is Robert Eggers' second movie.
Yeah.
First one being The Witch, which we also covered, which is also phenomenal.
The Witch.
So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Those three directors you just named, Eggers, Peele,
Aster.
Yep. None of them just what's the word?
Apartments.com.
Compartmentize themselves.
Compartmentalize?
Compartmentalize or just stick themselves in one genre.
Sure.
None of them are just horror. None of them are just comedic. None of them are just drama. They just do a great way of encompassing everything that makes a movie, which is what I love about their movies is that they.
Yeah.
It's not a horror movie, but it is.
So
it's not a comedy.
I feel like,
but it is.
So Robert Eggers and Ari Aster definitely hit more within the horror genre. I feel like Jordan Peele is more of a comedy horror.
But Us was
funny,
movie.
but
that
like
movie was horrifying.
Yeah,
that's a horror movie, but it isn't. That's what I'm saying. That's what makes them so good.
And you take into account the fact that Jordan Peele is also a comedian that's now directing horror movies. Which, by the way, this was also a thing I forgot to bring up in the news. The name of the new Jordan Peele movie that's coming out was released the other day. It's called Nope.
Nope. Just Nope. Nope. Exclamation point? Question
no
mark?
Exclamation point.
Period.
Just Nope.
Comma?
Just Nope.
Semicolon.
N-O-P-E. Nothing. No punctuation afterwards.
So it's just...
It's a new horror movie from Jordan Peele. And actually, Kat, you can look it up if you want to. I forget who's in the cast, but the cast sounds awesome.
I will watch everything he makes.
Ever.
Without question.
Of course.
I don't care how bad it is, because it's going to be good. You can tell me it's bad.
Of course. But back to the Lighthouse. I think it looks beautiful. It sounds beautiful with the music and the language, even though it's tough to understand. This is, again, like you said, Kat, a perfect movie to watch on subtitles. I know Andrew's been beating the watch every movie on subtitles drum.
I dig it, though.
And this brings you to that realization.
It is a perfect depiction of a descent into absolute madness.
Yes.
Insanity. Gives us a great new catchphrase to yell after ripping some shots. Monkey Pump!
What?
Oh my God, I love that.
What?
I was like, catchphrase, are you talking about me?
My opinion
is my phrase?
This movie, even though it was originally, we'll get to this, originally the idea was to have it based on an Edgar Allan Poe story called The Lighthouse. Shout out to our last episode about The Raven. Go listen to it if you haven't yet. This obviously draws inspiration from the stories of H.P. Lovecraft. Lots of H.P. Lovecraft stories are about descending into madness, and I think this is about one or two scenes away with some tentacles or some Cthulhu or something to be the best Lovecraftian horror movie ever made.
Can I tell
you put that in there, it'd be it.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, sure.
Like, I understand that it was meant to be based off a very short story by Edgar Allan Poe, which it wasn't. But this is essentially one or two shots away from being an Edgar Allan Poe story too.
Yeah.
It's the perfect cross between Edgar Allan Poe
and Lovecraft.
Yeah. Which is what makes it fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's so dark, it's so dreary, yet it has that science
This
fiction
is
element to it.
This is about
It's
as dark
such
of a movie
good
as
movie.
I've seen.
This movie is fucked.
Very
This movie
dark
makes you
movie.
feel super unsettled
Yeah.
the whole time. I never feel comfortable watching this movie.
This is the
That
equivalent.
shoves
This is the equivalent
not
of a cold
there
shower
anymore.
Yeah,
This is equivalent of I want to possibly
Jump off a cliff. After
kill
this
myself.
movie.
Yeah.
Because this movie, it's one of those movies that you watch and you have never felt
Absolutely.
more uncomfortable in your life,
Yeah.
which is why I 100% recommend this movie.
I agree.
Because most people haven't felt uncomfortable, and that's the problem.
All right.
You need to be uncomfortable.
Cool. Ready to talk some 2019 horror movies? That's the year it came out, 2019.
Yes.
Let's
All
hear it.
Which ones
Sweet.
came out?
Let's see. All right, so I pulled up my personal rankings for 2019 horror movies in my Letterboxd, and here's what I had.
Sorry.
Just to give you guys an idea of some of the other stuff that came out this year. And actually, 2019 was a fantastic year for movies. We have one movie in 2019 that we covered on a podcast. Anyone want to guess what it is?
2019?
Correct, 2 years ago.
Midsommar?
Halloween.
Midsommar we did not cover. Halloween came out in 2018.
Didn't cover... Wait, we've never covered Midsommar?
No, we just talked about our
you-
dislike for it on several occasions.
Sure?
We've never covered it. No.
What? what? We're not covering that
I
movie
think
ever.
we should have someone else
All right,
on,
okay,
or
all right,
one or two
all right.
people on, like in addition to us, that actually likes Midsommar.
All right.
So that we could have it.
Audette
like,
likes
discussion.
Midsommar. Yeah, we should do that. Okay.
Can we
I
just
think
yell
we
at him
should
the whole
have-
time? Is that what we
No,
do?
no.
Children, all right.
Sorry, Dad.
The 2019 movie that we have covered is also my personal favorite movie of 2019, and that is Dr. Sleep. It is an all-time classic, a fantastic sequel to The Shining, a fantastic movie in general, fits perfectly within the Kubrick movie and the Stephen King novel, perfect. Also came out in 2019, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which you still have not seen. That was my
That's a horror movie.
number 2 movie of the year. I think it has horror-ish elements.
I do.
Manson stuff, Charles Manson family stuff. It's okay. Fine.
Okay.
Whatever.
I'm just
it's a Tarantino
taking. I'm
movie.
taking a
Great.
stand. I'm taking a stance.
Okay.
Also came out in 2019. Us. That's my number 3 ranked
There you
movie. Number 4, It Chapter 2, which I thought was fantastic. It.
I never
Chapter
said I
2.
didn't like It Chapter 2.
I loved It Chapter 2. Kat did not. So
no,
Kat's
you can love it all you want. It's mediocre at best. Doesn't make me
It's a little
stupid for
smelly.
thinking that. I don't think it's bad. Is it better than Us? Negative.
I have a cartoon movie ranked at number 5. That would be Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is everything I've ever wanted my entire life.
That's not
one
a
thing.
horror movie.
Oh, hold on.
I'm
hold
just
on.
saying what my personal rankings.
what?
Nerd.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Absolutely. I mean, we do,
Nerd.
Andrew, we do a movie podcast about horror movies. We're all nerds. Newsflash.
Am I?
At number 6, The Lighthouse. This movie in my
You
personal
have
rankings.
this number 6.
Six?
6.
I
Wow.
think-
Six?
So first off, that is a stacked fucking.
Okay, all of those
That's
movies
a
that I
stacked
said
deck.
before, I personally like better than The Lighthouse.
But I'll put it this way: if it's five,
I also have
if
about
it's five
another
card
10
poker,
movies after this if you'd like to hear what
No,
I have
I
to say.
really-
No,
don't.
because once you get past this, if this is your 6th, once you get past my first 5 hands in poker, it's in there.
All right, so ready for some facts before we go to
Sure.
our categories?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, excellent. So, Andrew, we mentioned this before. This story is very loosely based on the... Oh, actually, no, this one we didn't mention before. Very loosely based on a real-life tragedy from 1801
I've heard
called
about this.
the Smalls Lighthouse Tragedy, in which 2 Welsh lighthouse keepers, both named Thomas, became trapped on their lighthouse station during a storm. One man died, and it has been said that this caused the other man to be driven mad. Some other influences for this story were seafaring literary classics, by authors Herman Melville from, obviously Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Big old Moby Dick.
Robert Louis Stevenson. And, of course, as we already mentioned, the supernaturally tinged cosmic horror tales of H.P. Lovecraft. Howard Phillips Lovecraft. And also, although the final story bears little resemblance, the film began as an attempt by the writer to create a contemporary take on the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Lighthouse. Obviously, it ended up not being a direct adaptation of that story. It evolved into something of its own. But, that's where these... And you mentioned you can feel the Poe
It's
influence
still
here.
a Poe influence.
Like, you can feel the influence from
you
all
can
that
say it's
stuff,
not a
right?
Poe
Like,
influence, but if that was part of your influence at some
Yeah.
point, then it's going to be
I can
an
see
influence.
all of that, by the way. I can feel the Lovecraft. I can feel the Herman Melville in there. Like, I feel like Defoe's character is
He's
pretty
such
much
a
Captain Ahab from
prototypical
Moby
fucking
Dick.
pirate.
Yeah. I feel like he is
Oh,
he is
absolutely
essentially
has that
a
vibe.
living, breathing, walking version of the pirate captain character from like The Simpsons and
Yeah.
also Family
Oh,
Guy. Like,
same person.
Yeah, same person. So,
But he's awesome.
yeah. So obviously, and we mentioned this before, this movie is directed by Robert Eggers. It's his second feature film, which is incredible. The other film being The Witch, or The Vivitch. Go listen to our episode on The Witch if you haven't listened to it already. We also mentioned in that episode that Robert Eggers is from New Hampshire. He's a New Englander. And you can feel the New England influence in his films because both of his major films take place in New England. The Witch takes place in Massachusetts. The Lighthouse takes place somewhere in New England in an undescribed, undistinct location somewhere.
I can tell you.
New
I can
England
tell you one
Lighthouse.
thing. There's one thing that people can never say about Robert Eggers. It's that he doesn't know how to inspire tone.
Yeah.
He has the best ability at just portraying tone. the tone of every movie he does is so perfectly established that it's in and of itself, it makes you respect that movie even more, regardless of what the movie has to offer. And they're both great movies, but his tone is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I agree. Yeah.
So we talked about the New England influence of this movie. Otis, please. Come on. Make me do less editing, buddy. Despite this movie taking place in New England, it was filmed entirely in Cape Fortune, Nova Scotia, in very real, very terrible weather conditions.
Do you know what Nova Scotia means?
I do not know what Nova Scotia means. What does it mean?
I don't either. But I would assume that it means New Scotland.
Okay.
So, New England, New Scotland. I would assume that that's what that means. That's my guess.
Well, somebody should look it
Scotia.
up. I have no idea.
Nova, New.
But essentially, when they were filming this movie, they had
not.
to face freezing temperatures, cold Atlantic water, intense winds, snow,
Yeah, it's
rain.
Nailed it!
Wow, great
Son,
job.
what a genius!
And there was also no trees on the island they were filming on, so there was nothing to shield them from these elements, right? So they were exposed to these elements throughout the shoot. During the shoot of this movie, 3 different nor'easters blew across Cape Fortune during various stages of the production. And then much of the film was shot in real weather elements, as we mentioned. So rain and wind machines weren't needed most of the time, with Eggers stating that, quote, "The most crazy and dramatic stuff that we shot was for real." The crew for this movie actually had to film the scene where, the scene where Robert Pattinson's character goes into the water and essentially up
Trying to get on the lifeboat.
Yep. So they had to wait until the weather settled down because they were afraid they might actually lose him to a riptide. So they were afraid that he might get sucked under and drowned. Which
imagine?
is so a lot of the weather in this movie is real, which is pretty cool. It's tough to capture that kind of thing. And I know, so you were talking about you watched the new season of the movies that made us with Jurassic Park.
And they did the same thing. They took that into it. There was a hurricane with 150-mile-per-hour winds that hit that island in Hawaii while they were there.
Yeah.
And it ripped apart buildings.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
Steven Spielberg took one of the camera guys out and was like,
Let's do it.
Willie, we're
Right now.
filming this.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like,
why
what
wouldn't
are you,
you?
insane? But it worked out, and look at what it made.
So we talked a lot about the acting in this movie.
Can I say something? So was
course.
it how much was CGI? How much was real filmed? Do you
I
have any
think
of that
pretty much
information?
everything was real. I don't think there was very much CGI in this movie. I don't have it in front of me, but
It didn't look like it was.
Nothing-
It looked
nothing
very
was
real.
CGI.
That's why I was
maybe the mermaid, maybe
Well,
Maybe,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
that could have
would be
been
just
practical
edited.
effects too.
I mean, yeah.
That was a real actress, and she probably had a fucking.
a suit on.
At that point, it's all been natural.
makeup
Why are you
and-
going to
I
use?
mean-
Yeah.
Why are you going to do CGI at that point? That seems like an
No.
unnecessary expense.
No, she could have makeup and stuff and a suit.
That's
you
what I'm
just touch
saying.
it up.
Why would
Yeah.
you use
No,
CGI at that
absolutely
point?
not.
You've done this perfect film
Yeah.
to this point. Why ruin it?
Right.
To me, like Mike said, a film involves no CGI. As soon as you put CGI in it, it's not a film anymore. It's a movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
maybe. Fair enough.
Except if it's like Jurassic Park.
So obviously, we talked a lot about the acting, and the 2 main actors in this movie are Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. I think turning in career best performances, at least
100%.
At least for Pattinson, probably for both, in my opinion. But
they were amazing.
they put a lot of preparation into these roles. Some crazy things. Here's a few of those things, okay? They both stated that they barely spoke a word to each other on set and were too exhausted to hang out together after a day of shooting because filming was so physically demanding due to the miserable weather conditions. Okay? Pattinson apparently stayed at a normal hotel with the rest of the film crew. Of course, Willem Dafoe had to one-up him and stayed in a little fisherman's cottage in solitude the entire time to pretty much put himself in
That makes
character.
sense to me. Like
Totally
if you were gonna do this,
Yeah.
you would
You
fucking.
kind of need to be in your own. I can understand that. As
Yeah,
an
if you're gonna
actor,
play a
to be in your
career
own head.
best
Yeah.
performance in a movie
Yeah.
where you're a psychopath in solitude, maybe you should be in solitude.
Yeah.
Here's something that's insane, okay? So we did this earlier, right? The scene where Willem Dafoe's character has the monologue, when he puts the curse on Pattinson, okay? Where he's yelling at him, hark, Triton, hark, when he's basically Pattinson's complaining about not liking Willem Dafoe's cooking of the lobster, was done in one single take.
Wow.
That's it. One take.
Incredible.
And according to Robert Eggers, Willem Dafoe didn't blink for over 2 minutes while he was doing that monologue and that scene. That is insane. You all right over there,
That sounds like an insane person doing that.
Which, I mean, he
Because
pretty
who
much
can
is.
even read that?
I know. Crazy. Imagine you read that, right? Imagine trying
Well, I
to
think
memorize that.
Yeah,
and then
I read
rip it
that
off
once. And
while acting and not blinking with crazy eyes.
how many months did he have to do that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
You just
I mean,
read
to
that. But
cut
imagine
that
you
would
just
be
read
so
that for
hard
time
if
and time
you-
again.
If he didn't do it in one take, it would
Yark,
be
you
so-
just fucking go with
Yeah.
it,
It'd
though.
be so hard.
If
to
it's
cut.
perfect at some
Yeah.
point, you just keep going with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Willem Dafoe is a phenomenal actor. Does that surprise
Right.
anybody?
No, not at all.
Robert Eggers said that Robert Pattinson also was equally intense on the set of this movie. Here's a direct quote from Robert Eggers, okay? Regarding Robert Pattinson. Quote, "Sometimes he'd beat himself in the face so bad, or when it was raining through the cottage roof, Rob was drinking the rainwater in between takes. He also spun around in circles a lot. That was helpful for him. Or he'd stick his fingers down his throat to make himself gag. Stuff like that."
Oh,
This
Wow.
is type
That's-
of sicko
this is
shit
why this movie
that
is so
these people are
good.
doing.
Because they just go all out. And
These
that's
are
what you...
capital
have
A
to.
actors.
How are you else going to play that role?
But like,
I
that's
know.
You
the
gotta
thing.
go fucking balls
Yeah.
to the walls. So props to them. That's again why this is a film and not a movie. It's a film.
Well, that's why some of the best movies with the best actors, like Heath Ledger with the Joker, you get in your own head.
Method
I mean,
method
then
acting, sure.
It's like you go so hard and you do an amazing job, but sometimes it takes
Yeah.
a toll on you.
Yeah.
They should be proud of themselves for this.
So apparently Willem Dafoe learned how to knit for this role,
Cool. I know how to
and
knit.
think he was
apparently
knitting.
they both took dancing lessons so that they could dance with each other in that one
Cute.
scene. Both took
Nice.
dancing lessons. Robert Pattinson also took classes on how to roll cigarettes, so he could roll his own cigarettes for this movie. And regarding the accents, that's also a pretty important
They're
part of
very
this movie. I
muffled,
think.
I
Yeah,
feel like.
yeah, I think so. But so Pattinson's accent in this movie is based on a very specific area of Maine farming dialect.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
very weird. I can see that.
You can hear like the echoes of a Boston accent in
Yeah, it's
Pattinson,
very
a
Maine-ish.
little bit,
Yeah.
like a New England accent, what have you. And Willem Dafoe's is basically the jargon of Atlantic fishermen and sailors of the time, which again sounds like the sailor
Killed
character
it.
from The Simpsons and Family Guy. Like
Right.
it's like a fucking. Those are a parody of this type of character. So, despite this movie being as good as it is, it was only nominated for one Academy Award, and that would be for Best Cinematography at the 2019 Oscars.
Which it should have won.
Yeah, I don't know if it won.
It
but
didn't.
It was nominated. It was nominated. So, and of course, the one final fact or question that everyone has been waiting for us to answer: the audio of Willem Dafoe's farts in this movie was added in post-production.
Yep. I heard about that. Awesome.
That's why
Weren't real farts.
We'll get to like more thoughts later.
So apparently,
More
from
farts later?
no,
More
I want to get
farts
into.
later?
I want to get into.
So apparently,
Farts.
from what I was able to find, Otis, thank you. None of the fart sounds originated in a sound library, so they weren't like repurposed farts. They were created practically, and sound designer Damien Volpe stated that he won't reveal how he created the sounds of the farts, and that he will take that secret to his grave. So those fart sounds, we may never know how they were actually created. Put your phone on vibrate.
I'm going to put you on vibrate.
But that. Hey, so this is at the point now that we're done with facts. Like every so often, we if a movie warrants such discussion, we talk about the analysis of a movie and what the deeper meaning of a movie might actually be. We've done this with a few of these movies, and I think this is definitely one of those movies that warrants that type of discussion, okay? Because there's a lot here. So according to Robert Eggers, who again is the director of the movie, the two lead characters, Wake and Winslow, represent figures in Greek mythology. Wake represents Proteus, an old prophetic sea god who was called the, quote, Old Man of the Sea. Winslow, who is Robert Pattinson's character, represents Prometheus, who was a titan and trickster figure who essentially defies the gods by stealing fire, which is represented by the light in the lighthouse. Okay?
Gotcha.
The final shot of the seagulls swarming over Winslow's body and pecking at his insides as he lies helplessly on the rocks resembles that of the Greek mythological tale of Prometheus.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one.
So basically in Prometheus, the Greek gods took fire away from humans as a punishment for disobeying them. Then Prometheus stole the fire back to give the valuable gift back to mankind. The gods were outraged by Prometheus' theft of the fire, and so they punished Prometheus by chaining him helplessly to a rock, where each day a different eagle was sent to eat Prometheus' liver, which would then grow back overnight to be eaten again.
Love it.
And so on
Jesus
forever.
Christ.
What a great tale.
Right?
That's awful.
Winslow, who is, again, Pattinson's character, Ephraim Winslow.
Howard.
Winslow. He displays an Oedipal fixation on his boss, Thomas, Willem Dafoe's character, given his simultaneous fear and admiration of him. Pattinson actually commented on this, on their father-son dynamic in the film, and he said, quote, "I was pretty conscious of how I wanted the relationship to come across in a lot of ways. He sort of wants a daddy." Seems to make sense when you think about it, right? As the film progresses, Winslow is increasingly, quote, looking for Willem Dafoe's validation as both a boss and as a father figure. You can see that. Mm-hmm. Finally, I think it's safe to say this movie is very homoerotic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny, when you guys were first talking... Sorry to interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
When you were first talking about this movie, I was thinking to myself, I was like, am I going to be watching a movie where, like, two men are masturbating, looking at each other, saying monkey
Could have
pong?
happened,
Because
yeah.
that's kind of what I was imagining. And it didn't happen. So I was like, okay, well, at least I prepared myself for something that didn't actually happen, but would have been equally as... I mean, there's a lot of weird kind of scenes in this movie that I'm just kind of, like, make you feel... like what Andrew said, it makes you feel uncomfortable. It's
very unsettling.
So, I mean, it's very unsettling. Like,
as it should be.
So, I wasn't really sure what I was getting myself into.
It always feels like Winslow and Wake are about one scene from fucking each other, right?
It feels like Brokeback Mountain.
Well, that's...
If they had only just boned each other, it would have gotten like 3 Academy Awards.
I was kind of waiting for that to happen. Like, I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
At a lot of points. That's why... And then it never did, and I was like, oh. Well, okay.
Ye put your hope in the ocean, did ye?
Well, he's like, you don't like my lobster. I'm like, is that a nickname for a penis? Like...
No, yeah.
The lighthouse is...
I understand why
the whole structure of the lighthouse is a phallical penis.
I understand.
Well, and then
it means a big fat penis.
That's a perfect segue, Andrew, because when asked to describe the lighthouse, Robert Eggers used the same choice of words pretty much in every interview, and I quote, "Nothing good can happen when two men are trapped alone in a giant phallus."
There you go.
Yep, a big old fucking cock. How that big dick? How that big dick treating you? Yep, it's a big old fucking dick.
Otis, come on, will ya? Jesus Christ. All right, so before we get into our categories, which is what's coming up next, just a reminder that tonight's episode of America's Hometown Horror is brought to you by Omio! Omio, by the way, is a travel booking platform that makes planning a journey in Europe and North America effortless.
Omio.
Just enter your travel details, and Omio will magically give you all the train, bus, flight, and ferry options for your journey. It's never been simpler to book your first real vacation for 2021. And best of all, using Omio saves you time and money. That's a win-win in our books. Omio wants to help you leave your house this summer by offering 5% off your next booking. Just head over to omio.com, again that's omio.com, and use the code OMIO5 at checkout. This offer is only valid until July 31st, so get your fucking ass in gear and book that trip. And it's only for new users on all modes of transport. It's just the pick-me-up that 2021 needs. Omio, plan, book, and love the journey. Terms and conditions apply. Ready for some categories?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Cat. The cat category. We will start with you, as always. Catherine, did you find this movie to be scary?
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, being stuck in solitude with one other person that you don't even know for how long? I mean, how long was it?
Couple weeks.
I feel like it's up for debate.
Couple weeks. I think it's 2 weeks.
Wake's character
2 weeks.
Even says it. How long have we been on this rock?
It was
2 days, 5 weeks. Help me to recollect.
Right.
You know,
because I was like, it was supposed to be 4 weeks, and then they said so and so's not coming because of the storm, and then they
split it down the middle. Is my guess.
Yeah.
Just think like
2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks max.
Total? You think?
You know how quick you can go insane on a fucking rock with some other guy that you're just drinking turpentine and honey with?
Yeah.
How quick do you? How long do you think this would take before you go insane?
Yeah.
I would last like 8 days.
I don't know how long I'd last. I've never been
You
in that
wouldn't last because
situation.
you've never been in that
No, I'd
situation.
be
You're
terrified.
correct. So
I don't
8
think I
days
would-
is a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine.
Well,
so.
I mean, in Naked and Afraid, they're like what 20.
That
2 days?
weird show that's not real. Based
Naked
off
and
of,
Afraid, the reality show.
Kat loves that show.
I
Not,
love
not,
Naked and Afraid.
nothing. It's not real.
I'm naked and
It's
afraid.
all fake. It's all staged. So
Okay.
yeah, you just called it a reality show.
It is a reality show.
All right, Andrew. So you've kind of waxed
That's what it
poetically
really is.
here about how much you love this movie. Did you find this movie to be scary, disturbing?
Scary?
Care to
No.
elaborate? Because nothing scares you. Yes, you're a hardo. I
It's
know.
real. It's ultimate reality. I could see myself in one of these
Which makes
positions.
you-
It would be madness. It's not scary, real, and if it is real, then if in that moment I would be scary to other people. So,
Right.
is it scary? Possibly.
I think it is, mainly because this is kind of, like I said, I find like this just depiction of madness to be completely insane. And I think, even though I joke and I love yelling monkey pump whenever we take shots or whatever, I think the level of insanity and the depravity that you have to willingly drink turpentine mixed with honey
fucking
just
savage.
to get yourself through the day, that is a little scary to me that humans can go to that depth. You know,
absolutely.
That's insane. So
And
it's
I
insane
would
to think
in
about
that
that. That
situation.
does scare me a little bit.
If I had nothing to drink
Yeah.
in that situation, I would do the same fucking thing.
Right.
I know you would.
I would be like, here's some paint thinner and ginger. Let's get fucked up. And then
Yeah.
you fucking rage.
Yep.
And you would
Oh
just
yeah.
lose your goddamn mind. So,
All right, Andrew, I'll start with you on the next category. Your favorite scene, sir.
they're all so good. I love my favorite. So my favorite scene is, it's when he's burying him. Wake. Thomas is burying Wake, and he's just throwing dirt on him, and fucking Willem Dafoe is still delivering every line while dirt is getting thrown in his mouth. And I have to
So
wonder,
great.
is that really dirt just getting thrown in your face? Or are they putting, like, food? Like, is it like Oreo crumbs so that you can
Maybe.
actually, like, eat it while you're talking? Because
Yeah.
otherwise, that's a really unsettling thing
Yeah.
as an actor. Just be like, here's a bunch of dirt.
I'm going to throw it in your mouth.
Shoveled on
and
your
then go
face.
from there. Yeah.
Keep talking, because you're insane. So either he's insane, or they were throwing Oreo crumbs on his face. But also,
I hope they were Oreo crumbs for his sake.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I love that scene because when there's a point where Ephraim or Thomas Howard jumps into the grave with Wake, and for a moment you feel like he's trying to save him.
Yes.
He's like
yes,
brushing his
absolutely.
face off,
Yeah.
helping him out, and you're like, he realizes that what he's doing is insane. And then he just is like, oh, there's the keys. That's what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And then he doesn't finish burying him. So, does he ever get buried? Does he actually die?
Well, yeah,
Does
that-
Wake
that's
die
a-
in the
that's
end?
a good
Because he's
question.
never fully buried. He never gets fully buried at the end of the movie. So my question is, does he die at the end of the movie? Or
No, well, he.
What the fuck happens?
No,
I don't know
no,
what happens.
No. He gets out of there, and then he goes into the lighthouse, and that's when he kills him.
oh yes, that is correct.
So,
But-
there's
forgot about
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you are correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
But
One more
it's a
time.
weird.
Can you
It's a
just say
weird.
that one more time?
It's a weird
Can you-
scene to
one more
just
time?
like you
I
had him.
really
You could
enjoyed it.
you could have finished burying him and then you stopped.
Well, that's why he came
Why?
back, and then he bludgeoned him.
Why
to
didn't he
death.
just finish him?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah,
but
good question.
He didn't.
You had him. That's because he's so insane.
He ultimately did finish him. It just
Finish
took him a
him!
little longer.
Okay.
My
your
favorite scene.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually like at the very end when he is looking at the light, when he finally gets like up to the top of the lighthouse, and he's looking at the light, and he like opens the thing, and he's just like, the sound is like, it mutes it.
Yeah.
It mutes it, and you just see him screaming like,
yeah.
Bah! And I'm just like, oh my god,
Madness.
it's so crazy, like so crazy. He's like, he finally makes it up to the light, and then he just falls down all the stairs.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, why did you do that? Like, but great. You just finally got up to the light, and then you see it, and then you lose your mind, and then you fall down the stairs, and then you die and have birds peck out your insides.
I remember the first time I watched this movie, I actually was thinking to myself, I kind of wish they had shown what he saw in the light. But the more and more that I think about it, and the more that I've watched it, I'm like, you know what? It's probably better left to the imagination.
Absolutely.
He just saw the light.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
That's all he saw.
Whatever it represents. But he went absolutely mad. And I thought, that's a great point. Like, the muting of the sound and, like, the inaudible just scream before he falls. That's scary.
So, actually,
that's really cool.
I would say shout out to our friend Shano, who has the podcast, the You're Not Listening podcast, because this would totally be like what he was talking about when he was on our podcast, saying that like it's the whole environment. So when you're watching it and you're seeing it and you're listening to everything and kind of putting together the pieces all together, it's a whole environment with music.
Yeah.
Like in the sound that it creates and everything.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It creates a whole atmosphere and like emotion.
Shano's the best, by the way, and his podcast is called You're Not Listening, a music podcast.
Yes.
If you haven't listened to it yet, check him out. Go subscribe, leave a review. Also, go back and listen to our best horror scores and soundtracks episode, which he was on. We were live on YouTube for that one, so you can actually see our faces if that's something you're interested in. Andrew, you're going to say something. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. You held your hand up like you were going to say something. No?
Was I?
Yeah, maybe not.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
I was just saying hello.
So my favorite scene, it has to be the Willem Dafoe monologue.
Oh yeah,
the Thomas Wake monologue.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hark! And like just the two of them, and like when we said before,
what
this
about
movie,
the monkey pump? No one said monkey pump.
I'm getting to that.
Right, okay,
I'm getting to that. If I could finish before being interrupted.
Go ahead.
So just like that whole interaction is very scary and disturbing, but it's also funny. Like the way
it's hilarious.
It's like when we said before, this movie is kind of a comedy. Like those scenes are why.
Right.
Like when they're talking about the cooking and Robert Pattinson is saying that if he had a bloody steak, he would fuck it. Like that's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. And just like the look on Wake, his face, when Winslow says that he's not fond of his lobster, he looks like so genuinely heartbroken. It's like, it's absolutely hilarious. And then he launches himself into this tirade, cursing him from the sea gods and all this shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking, like, that is funny if it weren't so fucking disturbing, you know? And then also, Monkey Pump! Monkey Pump's off. Any other scenes noteworthy that you guys would like to mention? Anything else? Or should we move on?
No, those were pretty much what I wanted to cover.
Okay, cool. At this point, we usually talk about cast replacements or alternatives or cast info, and I would say there should be absolutely no cast replacements at any point ever in this movie.
You couldn't ask for two better actors.
I have cast replacements.
You are an idiot.
Okay, ready? You guys. You guys should be the cast replacements for the two of them because you guys are ultimately the same people. And if you did that whole movie,
so Mike,
who'd be who?
So Mike, just so you know, we're gonna finish this dialogue after this.
After this, that's fine.
Because we only did half of it, and I was very disappointed.
That's fine.
By that.
That's fine.
So
who would be who?
Oh yes, I'm the old sickly man brought here by ye bludgeoned bitch.
Absolutely.
I would hope to expect that your husband would be Robert Pattinson in this situation.
Yes.
So good answer. Very good.
You guys.
We do kind of act like insane maniacs when we drink together. So
I was watching this and I'm like, this is really Andrew and Mike.
I don't know if we're that insane.
We're not.
Well,
I get what she's trying to say.
In a lighthouse for 8 days. This may actually have occurred.
I mean, maybe.
I can
That's
see that.
what I'm saying. I'm like, it honestly could happen. That's so you
Great
two
call.
would be my cat replacements because I kind of would want to see what that would
Great
look
call.
like.
Great call.
This would be a real life. Of it.
It'd be amazing.
Any nitpicks for this movie? Because
Nope.
None. I have
zero.
one. Kat, you have something?
I had a couple. So sometimes I felt like it was hard to tell what was like real and what was a dream and what was intentional.
Well, that's part
I
of the
kinda
movie,
got
though, I
confused.
feel like.
I know, but I also, I mean, that's
The movie
kind of
is but a dream.
how it was, and
Fever dream.
and the whole
dare I
thing
say.
when he's like,
Fever
yeah,
drunk
I
dream.
mean, like when he's like looking up and he's like, is there an octopus up there? Is he seeing that? Is that like a weird thing? Is there going to be a monster element in this thing?
Those
like
are
I don't really
visions,
know.
yeah.
They're visions.
Yeah.
Yes. And
As were the mermaid, obviously. You know.
the other thing that I didn't really understand until I feel like we just started talking on the podcast was that both of their names was actually Thomas. Because,
Thomas.
Right.
Ephraim.
So
That took a while for me to
Yes,
figure out too,
'cause
and
I
it was
was
very
like-
confusing. But once you figure that out, it's very easy.
because I'm like, well, he's saying it, but he's like hammered. So is he actually talking about it? Because he's like, I'm Thomas. I'm Thomas. I'm Thomas.
If I
Thomas
may.
killed Ephraim,
If I may present a question.
and he took over his.
Right.
Oh, okay. See, this is
two-
why I'm like a little confused over a lot of this.
Two questions,
It's
if
kind of a
if I
deep
may,
movie.
for both of you. What did you think of that twist? And two, once you find out that his name is also Thomas, as is Willem Dafoe's character, are they the same person?
Are they the same person?
The
No.
one thing you could wonder is if it's just that one guy mining a lighthouse, losing his fucking mind.
I
Like, is
mean,
Willem Dafoe an
wow.
older version of
Yeah,
Robert
because
Pattinson's character in this
do
movie?
any of them ever?
Huh.
Do they,
Both have the same name?
yeah, Thomas, Tom, and there's like them talking to themselves. What?
Yes.
What?
Okay. All right.
Otis, my God, he doesn't like when we do that. At the Spooky Hound Dog, folks. Otis, come on.
No, it could very well be the same guy. An older version of him and his younger version, and he's losing his goddamn mind.
Yeah, very well could be.
That if there's ever a movie where this would be the case, this is the movie.
I think so. I could honestly see it being like a Memento or Fight Club situation, that type of thing. Honestly, but I mean, I haven't found anything in my research that confirms that. I just like
Well, when he
you asked the
talks to
question,
himself,
right?
it's
Like-
not as if it never appears as the way another person would talk to another person.
Mm-hmm.
They talk to each other the way that you would talk to yourself.
Yeah, probably.
Very degrading. Very presumptuous. It's just.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not the way that a normal person would talk to another person. It's as if you were talking to yourself, be like, "You're a fucking
Yeah,
idiot.
almost
Why
as
don't
if
you
you're-
fucking go do this?" And like, it's not. That's just what I get out of it.
Almost as if you're having an argument with your own psyche.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Right.
it's not how other people talk to
type
other
of
people.
thing.
Right. That's a really good point.
It's
That's
a
a really
very
good point.
offensive way of talking
Yeah.
to yourself.
Right. And who's, in most cases, I mean, who's harder
Who's your
on
biggest
yourself
critic? Your
than
biggest
yourself?
critic is you.
Yeah.
You are your biggest critic.
Maybe, so Thomas Winslow, or whatever is actually Thomas, whatever Pattinson's character's name
So,
actually is.
here's the
Maybe
problem.
he went to this lighthouse to escape what he did
Yes,
by killing that
and then
man.
he lost his
and
mind.
he lost his mind and turned into Willem
Yeah,
Dafoe.
essentially, if you killed somebody, right, and you were like, I killed this person, but I didn't actually kill them, and then you lose your goddamn mind, and then you're this Thomas, and you're this Thomas.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're two different Thomases. It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. And for this type of movie, that's just what it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
If that's not how it is, then I don't know what I'm watching.
Right. Yeah,
That's a good point.
I think
Yeah.
I think so, and I think like if you're capable of taking a step back after watching this movie and looking at it objectively, you definitely see the evidence that there is a case for that.
Right.
I think, in my mind. But I digress. So we had no cast replacements. That was pretty much. Oh, so
Just
my
you two.
nitpick. We kind of got off the
Just you two.
off the rail there, but that was good discussion, so I'm fine with it. The one nitpick that I had. I do kind of wish it leaned a little bit more into the supernatural than it did. For my personal taste, I would have loved that. And as I mentioned before, this is probably one or two scenes away from having it be the best Lovecraftian horror movie ever made. Maybe you get a shot of Cthulhu. Maybe you get a shot of some Lovecraftian crazy cosmic horror, monster shit, something.
You're
Just a
missing the
quick scene.
monsters.
But,
You're missing
I
the monsters.
understand the point of the movie is that it's just about madness and The only like kind of supernatural things that are going on. I mean, you see the tentacles behind Pattinson at one point when he's like gonna punch Willem Dafoe in the face, and the mermaid shit.
Yeah.
Like that was obviously the only other supernatural stuff. But I like for my taste, that is like the only thing for me that could have improved this in any way. I thought so. I mean, is best death even worth talking about here? I mean, I guess
I wouldn't even bother it.
Yeah.
We've talked about this movie enough.
One.
I think that this movie is so perfect that there is no best death.
I think there is.
Fair enough. Okay, what's yours?
Give it to me. Is there a death?
The seagull.
Yeah, actually, good
the
point.
one-eyed
Good
bitch
point.
seagull.
Seagull that he literally
Smash him.
wails against whatever it is.
Also, check the trivia. I checked it. No seagulls were harmed in the making of this film.
Thank God.
Yes.
Because that was gruesome.
Just so everybody knows,
was
I wouldn't have been
crazy.
offended because seagulls suck.
I was going to say, I also hate
If there's
seagulls,
any bird that
so-
should be bludgeoned, it's a fucking bird of the gull of the sea.
yes.
Fuck that bird.
So another interesting fact about Robert Eggers' two movies, The Witch and Lighthouse. Both movies have had posters with the animal from the movie, the main animal.
So I never saw
their
his
posters.
I never saw these.
The goat from The Witch
Okay.
and the seagull from this movie. And if you look at them side by side, it's very interesting.
Black Phillip.
Black Phillip and the seagull.
Black
Ooh,
Phillip
I
is
definitely want to. I want
superior
to find
to the
that. I'll
seagull.
put that on our social media.
For sure,
I'll hook it up
absolutely,
for you.
For
absolutely.
Jersey.
Okay. Also, another question not even worth talking about. Would it make a good haunted attraction? Nope.
No,
Yeah,
I said no as well.
So, I mean, I guess and
no.
now we come to another question where I guess everything is going to be in a matter of degrees. And that would be the MVP of the movie. Andrew, I'll start with you here.
Willem Dafoe. Nobody's better.
Elaborate.
Do I
Maybe?
need to?
Do you-
I feel like it's fairly
Maybe a
obvious
little bit?
that he
He's you.
just is. No. He
That's why
fucking.
you love him.
I love myself.
Because I love myself.
He fucking. He is just perfect in that role. He
He is
nails
perfect.
every fucking line.
He does.
Pattinson is perfect just because he's beautiful. But Willem Dafoe, the fucking scoundrel maggot that he is, portrays a perfect dirty sea pirate.
He really does.
And I've never seen one better.
Perfectly cast. Perfectly cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pattinson's
Who's your
perfect,
MVP,
too.
Mike?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I didn't have anything written down here because I just think it's so up for debate. I think I would have to go here. I would have to go Pattinson because
They look alike.
See, because he's like you.
No.
You picked the MVP because he's like you.
No. So hear me
You
out.
picked the MVP because he's like you.
Hear me out.
What?
I think Willem Dafoe's character is actually almost easier to play because he's just playing an insane person the entire movie. Pattinson's character is also insane, but he's also trying to play a normal person that goes insane. I think it's established essentially from the first scene that they're together that Willem Dafoe's character is already insane.
They banging.
Definitely, I think so.
It's gay as
But
fuck.
like, I think it's a little bit more difficult to portray somebody that is descending into insanity than it is to just play someone that's crazy from the get-go. So while I think they're both A+ fantastic,
Possible.
A++.
A++ fantastic, I have to give the slight nod here to Pattinson because I think this is the type of role that, post the Twilight terrible movies, he is trying to take on and be adventurous and differentiate himself from that era of his life when he was a teen heartthrob. Right? He's done a bunch of movies.
Water for Elephants.
This is like...
Yeah, he's a great actor.
So,
but Willem Dafoe is better.
I hear your argument. I appreciate it. I have a different one.
Ye
but they're
be
both-
wrong,
lad.
lad.
Neither of them are wrong, I would say.
What about me?
Catherine, your MVP.
The Lighthouse.
You're an idiot.
Do you know why?
That's actually a good answer, too.
That's
Is
actually
it still
the best answer.
standing?
Yeah, true. It sure is.
Okay,
Yeah, it's the only one that's still
your answer to the question.
It's the Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is the MVP because
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
The Lighthouse
it's still
is
there.
the MVP.
And you know what?
I actually think that is that's a good answer.
That's the best answer.
Yep.
But your response was no
Is
good.
it still standing? Well, everyone else is dead.
No, you should have just gone.
Oh, sorry.
I'll insert the lighthouse sound effect at this point of the episode. So
Oh,
don't worry.
nice. Okay.
So, last question, you guys, before we move on to our final thoughts and wrap a bow on this little bitch. Do you think that The Lighthouse deserves a sequel?
Can I start?
Yeah, of course you can.
So, I think, given my MVP as The Lighthouse, I think that, I would love to see a sequel. I don't think it's going to be a good one, because I think I want to see another, set of people in the same situation to see what they would do.
That, right there.
I want to see that, but I don't think it's going to be good. I have very low expectations if there's going to be a sequel, but I do want to see one because I think it would be cool.
Let me be clear. There will never be a sequel to this movie.
I know that.
But it's fun to speculate on what a sequel might be. And I would think something completely different from this movie would make an interesting sequel. Let's say it's the same island, the same lighthouse, 100 years later.
Right.
1990, okay?
That's
and there are two people that go out there, not even to watch the lighthouse. People that go out to inspect some shit or something like that. And they get trapped there.
And they find the mermaid.
Yeah. So I would ask you, do we have any final thoughts about the penis movie known as The Lighthouse?
No, I really liked it. It was a good movie, and I would recommend watching it, but I'm sure you probably already have if you're listening to this podcast, so...
It's been out for a little while now, so I feel like most people, if you're a horror fan, you probably have seen this.
Right.
So, I feel like it's... We could have spoiled it from the beginning, but I don't know. Maybe people... This was too artsy for people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love the artsy aspect of it.
I love the
I feel
arts,
like I haven't had a good
Artsy-fartsy?
artsy movie that I really liked in a while.
The Witch.
Kind of, but not. This was way more than The Witch.
Legit question.
Way more.
Legit question, because I honestly can't remember. Was The Witch also in black and white, or was
No.
The Witch in
No,
color?
that was
Witch
in
in
color.
color, right? Okay, all right, thought so. But,
This was also in grayscale, not black and white.
Correct.
okay.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
There's a difference.
Well, yes, there is.
I didn't know that.
It's a different ratio, a different scale.
Yes.
It's gray. It's
Look
not
at
black
you.
and white.
Look at you
It's a
guys.
very
All right.
it's a very artistic film. The way it was shot, with the atonal music, the weird accents.
That's why.
That's what I was
Emotions.
looking for. Yes,
This movie was-
atonal.
Yeah,
Yes.
atonal.
that's what you
Yes,
want to
yes,
say.
Yes.
Tell me why you fucking like it. That's what we want to
That's
know.
what I said.
Now we know.
Yes.
All right, fair enough. Andrew, any final thoughts on The Lighthouse?
Final thoughts. This movie was extremely gay, but I'm not gonna not say it.
Okay, that's fine, but did you like it?
Yeah, I fucking loved it, but it was very homoerotic. Does nobody see that? Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
We see it.
banging
We
each
brought
other
it up
the entire-
before. We brought it up before.
Okay, well
Yes.
that's good. I'm just glad that we brought that up because I feel like we would be doing this movie a discredit if we didn't bring up the fact that it was
Of course, it has to. It
extremely
absolutely
gay.
has to be mentioned. Has to be mentioned.
Best movie I've seen in that year. Best. This is like I said before. Top 5 film I've ever seen. Film.
So you.
I
This is
really,
a fucking
I
film.
also
So,
really
movie-
liked it.
This movie slaps.
Okay, so I know we both loved Dr. Sleep. You're willing to call this a better movie than Dr.
It's
Sleep.
a film.
Same year.
It's a not even. It doesn't even count. It's not even the same. That's
It's
the
not
problem.
the- it's
This
not on
movie
the
doesn't.
same
It's
level.
not the same. It's
So
different.
Dr. Sleep is a better movie. This
Dr.
is a better
Sleep
film.
is
Is
an
that what you're saying?
entertaining.
He's saying Lighthouse is way better than Dr.
Lighthouse is better than Dr. Sleep strictly because that movie was not made for money. It was
Right.
not made for recollection. It was made to be a film, and it was a fantastic film.
See, I would argue Dr.
Dr.
Sleep
Sleep
was
is an
also
awesome
made,
movie.
was a passion project that
No.
was made to be
I
made.
know it was.
No.
It was not made to make money.
It was a bit
No, I don't think
exaggerated.
so.
It was. It was all about money. It was a sequel to The Shining.
Exactly.
Right.
Same.
So I think though.
I'm on
So
his-
Mike
I'm on
Mike
his
Flanagan,
wave.
who wrote and directed that movie, I feel like. Okay. Well. Okay.
He can say whatever he wants
for
to say.
any movie, the studio does it for money. The filmmaker himself or herself does it because they want to make the
But
movie.
what is the studio paying that person? Money. So if that person is getting paid more money,
Who's getting paid more for Dr. Sleep? Ewan McGregor or Mike Flanagan? Easily Ewan McGregor.
do we know?
Who's getting paid more
What
for
is
the Lighthouse?
what did Mike Flanagan
Robert
make?
Pattinson,
What,
Willem
No, no.
Dafoe,
Oh,
or Robert Eggers? I would say Robert
both of
Eggers.
the actors. No way.
I'm curious
No
what
way.
what do they make? Do we know what they made?
They both made millions, I'm sure. Somebody look it up while we're talking right now.
I'm
But I
not gonna- no,
guarantee
we'll
you,
look
I
it
bet
up
you-
later.
I guarantee you that they both made by far more than Robert.
Because
Eggers.
without them, they're essentially Robert Eggers is essentially the basketball coach for the team. But without him,
There
you
would
don't
be
have
no
a
movie.
film.
Yeah.
Right. No
So-
film.
Without him, you have a stage play that people can act out
Right.
on stage.
And it might be good, it might be
Yeah,
terrible.
exactly. So.
So,
oh.
discount the director all you want.
Yeah, but
I think that's stupid.
this movie rocks. This movie rocks. I think it's one of the best.
I didn't discount the director.
One of the best horror movies of the last 10 years, I think. And it's a great movie. It's one of the best acted movies I've seen in recent memory. It slaps, to quote Andrew. And that's what I got. So I think that's all we got on the Lighthouse, you guys. We're going to wrap this up. Here's where you can follow us if you would like more of our ramblings and our social media stuff. You can first and foremost find us on ahpod.com. You can also find us on YouTube and Facebook. Just search for America's Hometown Horror. You will find us. You can also find us on Twitter at Hometown Horror and on Instagram at Hometown Horror Pod. And you can also drop us a line at hometownhorrorpodcast@gmail.com. Finally, in terms of listening to our show, you can pretty much get us wherever you listen to your podcast. But I mean specifically Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, and wherever else you get your podcasts. My name is Mike. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of America's Hometown Horror. We are happy to have you here. And as always, I have been joined by my esteemed co-hosts, Catherine and Andrew.
Yes.
Say goodbye to your listeners, folks.
Good night, you
Adios.
motherfucker. Yeah.
Good evening. Goodbye, Otis.
Otis says bye.
Bye. At the Spooky Hound Dog. Hey everyone, it's Mike from America's Hometown Horror, and just wanted to say thank you again for listening to another episode of our show, because of course, we would be nothing without you listeners. If you are interested in more local Plymouth podcasts, I would highly recommend you check out some shows by our cohorts on the Inebriart Podcast Network. That's right, the Inebriart Podcast Network, folks. In addition to America's Hometown Horror, you can find the Inebriart Podcast, Bar Talk, Theme Park Legends, Retro Redoctopus, and Old Colony Cast. Head on over and give them a listen.